Good afternoon. I am Kirtan. Today I am going to cover basic overview of ethical hacking. Ethical hacking. So in this today's topic, we will cover topics like introduction to ethical hacking, types of hackers, types of ethical hacking, phases of ethical hacking, how to defend against these hackers. So let's start with introduction to ethical hacking. Basically, what is ethical hacking? Ethical hacking is basically, as the term defines, ethical, which is legal. How basically attackers legally take the permission of the organizations to hack into the systems and hack into their organizations and solve the problems they have, like finding the vulnerabilities and resolving it. Basically, ethical hacking is the practice of legally breaking into computers and devices to test an organization's security. Ethical hackers identify vulnerabilities before malicious hackers can exploit them. Basically, now, who is an ethical hacker? Also known, an ethical hacker is also known as a white hat hacker, which I will cover in the future further slides. Work with organizations to improve security, must follow ethical guidelines and laws. Why is ethical hacking important? Ethical hacking is important because it helps protect organizations, individuals, and government from the cyber threats. Helps protect sensitive data from cyber threats, identify security weaknesses before cyber criminals do, and exploit their systems and destroy their networks, destroy their total business models. Now, now let us cover types of hackers. No, basically the type of hackers are divided into three parts, which are white hat hackers, black hat hackers, and gray hat hackers. White hat hackers are ethical hackers who protect the systems, like who take the permission from the organizations to protect their systems to perform the vulnerability test on their systems. Now the black hat hackers, they're malicious hackers who exploit vulnerabilities for personal gain and harm. Like they'll attack the organizations to get some ransom. Like they will perform ransomware attacks, viruses, trojans on the organizations to get to gain profit. Now there are other type of hackers called gray hat hackers. They are mix of both white hat and black hat hackers who may break laws without malicious intent, often exposing vulnerabilities without permission. Like they break the laws as they wish. They break the laws when, like, for example, the white great hackers, like we have hackers like who pirate access, who run the pirate access. They break the laws and they expose the data. They are not like black hackers. They are not getting any ransom for exposing the data. Like they do for their own fun. And there are also hackers like green hat hackers, blue hat hackers, red hat hackers, purple hat hackers. And like green hat hackers are inexperienced but eager to learn hacking skills. The hackers who are eager to learn the hacking skills are green hat hackers. And there are blue hat hackers who are totally into the blue teaming side. Their more motive is to defend the systems. And they have red hat hackers who are totally to red teaming side, like who are aggressively attack black hat hackers and destroy their systems. They'll just try to attack the black hat hackers and destroy their systems. And we have purple hat hackers, hackers who test their own systems to improve skills, or mix of blue and red hat hackers. Now let's talk about types of ethical hacking. There are so many types of ethical hacking, but now let's discuss about the five types of ethical hacking, like web application hacking, network hacking, wireless hacking, mobile application hacking, social engineering attacks. There are other hackings like IoT hacking too. Now let's talk about web application hacking. Web application hacking is basically finding the vulnerabilities in the website. Like we have SQL injection, XSS, like cross-site scripting, is known as the universal vulnerability, and we have CSRF, SSRF, and many other vulnerabilities. And we can see the different types of vulnerabilities like OWASP top 10, which are top 10 vulnerabilities, like misconfiguration attacks, ADOR, and many more. Next, talk about network hacking. Network hacking, like testing the network security. Uh, Network hacking is basically like hacking someone's network. We can do man-in-the-middle attacks, DDoS attacks, Wi-Fi attacks. Next, let's talk about wireless hacking, cracking Wi-Fi passwords and exploiting wireless vulnerabilities. And next, let's talk about mobile application hacking. With mobile application, I mean testing security of Android and iOS apps. Next, let's talk about social engineering attacks, manipulating humans to gain access, like phishing, pretesting, tailing. Now, let's talk about phases of ethical hacking. Mainly, there are five phases of ethical hacking. Phase one is reconnaissance. Phase two is scanning. Phase three is gaining access. Phase four is maintaining access. Phase five is covering tracks. Now, let's talk about the phase one, which is reconnaissance. Reconnaissance is basically like gathering information of the user or the thing we are attacking. This is the initial step where the ethical hackers gather as much as information as possible about the target before launching an attack. The goal is to identify potential weakness points that can be exploited later. And this reconnaissance is divided into two types. We have passive reconnaissance and we have active reconnaissance. Now let's talk about passive reconnaissance. Passive reconnaissance is a process of gathering information about a target without directly interacting with it. It's often used in early stages of security assignments. And we have tools like WHOIS, NSLOOKUP, DNS Dumpster, Shodan IO, Google Docking, etc. Now let's see some of the tools. Now let's see some of the tools. Now let's see first the WHOIS. WHOIS is a command used to retrieve domain registration details, including the owner's registrar, creation expiration dates, and the contact details. Now let's take an example of it. Let's see google.com only. Google.com. Who is google.com? See, we got the total information about the google.com here, like the domain name google.com, register a domain ID, register server, register URL from where they have registered this domain, updated date when it is updated, when it is created, expiry date, expiry date of it, and the domains, more details about the domains, the contact email, phone number, server names. It has five servers like NS1, Google.com, NS2, NS3, NS4, and the register database. We have the like again the WHOIS server, who's dot markmonitor.com, date of creation, that all we have. This is about the WHOIS command. Now let's see NS lookup command. NS lookup command is used for querying DNS records to get IP addresses associated with a domain and vice versa. Let us say take the same example, google.com, NS lookup. We can give domain name also, and we can give the IP address also. Anything is okay. Let's give the domain name. See, after giving the domain name, after checking in the NS lookup, we got the server address and name. What is the domain name, address, that all stuff. So here we are not directly going and attacking into the particular system or domain. Just we are gathering the information from without interacting with it. Now let's talk about active reconnaissance. Active reconnaissance is a cybersecurity technique that involves directly interaction with a target system to gather information. Now we are directly interacting with a target system. Let us take some examples. Uh, let us talk. We'll just demonstrate. I'll demonstrate just some examples. So first, let us use ping command, which is a common command. Most of the people know about it. Ping command is used to test the connectivity between our systems and a target host by sending ICMP echo request. We can give a domain name and we can give IP address too. Let's give domain name. Again, let's take the example of google.com. So it is sending the packets, ICMP packets. You can see here ICMP sequence 1, sequence 2, sequence 3, and the time taken to send the packet. And we are getting the IP address of the google.com here. We can see the IP address of google.com. Okay, let's clear this. Now let's take another example. Now let's see trace route. Trace route command shows the path of packets take from your computer to a destination. Helps you to identify network slowdowns. Let's take example of again google.com. Trace route. You can give you can give any IP address or you can give domain name google.com. See, here we got an information like from our device, it is the packets transferring from our computer to the destination. It is showing here. This is the domain of the Google, and this is the IP address of my computer from where my packets are transferring to it. Now let's talk about another example, Telnet. Telnet command allows you to manually connect to a remote server on a specified port. It's used to connect to the remote servers on a specified port. Like I will give example how to connect it. We should just give a telnet command and google.com and just giving an example of the domain name and the port number which you want to do, which you want to connect it. Now let's talk about another tool, Netcat. Netcat command is a very powerful networking tool for testing connections, sending data, and even setting up simple servers. So let me demonstrate it. Let's see what were the things we can use. So basically, if you want to set up a simple server, the basic command is like nc slash lvnp, and you can give any port number from which you want to connect. And this port number should be again used where you want to connect that server. Like, and you can give any port number. Like, can I 1 2 3 4 2 3 4. Let's give 1 2 3 4. And we can see here listening to any 1 2 3 4. Like we can use it in many ways. Like if we can use it for checking if a port is open or not, setting a simple chat server, transferring files between the systems, stimulate HTTP request, and we can use it for reverse shelling. Like if you are participating, if you are doing any participating in a CTFs, and if you want to transfer any files from your system to another system, you can use this netcat command. Now let's talk about phase two. Phase two is scanning, like identifying the vulnerabilities. After gathering the information from the phase one, now the attacker scan the target for finding vulnerabilities, like systems, open ports, running services. Now there's some types of scanning like port scanning, vulnerability scanning, network scanning. First of all, let's talk about port scanning. Port scanning is like identifying the open ports and running services on a target system. The famous tool used for port scanning is like Nmap, and you can use Zenmap. Is a GUI version of Nmap. Now I will demonstrate you Nmap tool. Let's see what things we can do with Nmap. Let's type nmap.h. Here you can see for host discovery, we can use SL, SN for ping scan, and we can use famous are like PS, PA. These are for port scanning of TCP sync, TCP acknowledgement packets, for UDP packets, and we can use scan techniques like SS for TCP scan, and ST for connect, acknowledgement for SS, SA for acknowledgement, SW for Windows, and there are so many things like in use. If you want to mention a port range from like a specific port or a range of ports from where this port to this port you have to scan, you can use /p. And if you want to detect which OS it is on which OS it is running, you can use /o. It tells on which OS it is running, and many things we can do with this in that tool. So let me demonstrate some few basic things. Let's take an example of let's take an example of this website, which is testphp.develop.com. So let us find its first. Let us find its IP address. To find the IP address, we can use ping command. Let's ping it. So we got the IP address of it, like 44.228.249.3. So now let's use nmap. Nmap. Now I want to scan that. I want to do TCP scan. So I'm using smallest and capital S, and I'm using the IP address of it. So basically, it takes some time. If you want to make it some fast, we have other tools like which runs faster than Nmap. Like we have RusScan, which is the latest tool. I think it was released in 2024. So it is somewhat better than Nmap. It is faster than Nmap. And we got the output. Here we can see the port number and the protocol which is running, like 23 and TCP, 80 and TCP. The state of the port, 23 it is closed and it is 80 it is open. And the service running on that particular port. On 23 it is running Telnet and 80 it is running HTTP. It has 23 and 80 are the basic ports of the Telnet and HTTP so protocols. So now let's go for vulnerability scanning. Vulnerability scanning is like checking for known vulnerabilities in a software and misconfigurations. For checking the vulnerabilities, we can use tools like Nessus, OpenVAS, and Nikto. Uh, I think OpenVAS is the free tool. Nessus is also free too, but I think only one particular edition is free. And if you want to do advanced scanning, you need to take a subscription, or you have to purchase it. Nikto is a popular tool. It's a like command line tool. It's not a geo version. It's a command line tool for scanning the vulnerabilities. And OpenVAS is the free tool. I will demonstrate you OpenVAS tool. Let me demonstrate you OpenVAS tool. Hmm. So first, let me take my password from this. Okay, this is my password. Copy the password. It takes some time to open. It will directly redirect it to the Firefox and open the Geo. Okay, it's already there. So let me sign in. So this is the main dashboard of the this tool, OpenVAS. And now let's scan something. Let's go here, Task Wizard. Here that in Task Wizard there are three types of things, two types. Like you have normal Task Wizard, you have advanced Task Wizard. Like you can give the host target here. You can give the host name and what type of scan you want to configure: basic, discovery, MTA, full and fast, force discovery, long force shell, system discovery. And you can, the best thing about the advanced task wizard is that you can schedule the time when to scan it. You can create a schedule time from start time to end time, and you can give your email, and it will directly send the report to your email after scanning at that time. Now let's do a basic scan. Let's take task wizard. Let's take IP address which we have got before of telnet. Let's take that IP address only. So let me again ping it. Let me ping it. We copy the IP address, pasting the IP address, start scan. It takes some time to scan and it generates a report. Let's wait for it. Basically, it is a normal basic scan, so I think it won't take that much time. Yeah, successful. Yeah, it's generated the report. And this is the scan time when you scan, hosted scan one. This for the filters used. And that it has no one-year validity. So we have got nothing about it. So this is the basic demonstration of OpenVAS and how to scan the target. So let's close it. Let's close it now. GVM. Stop. We have successfully stopped it. So let me clear it. So next we are computer vulnerability scanning. Now let's talk about network scanning. Network scanning is mapping network topology and identifying connected devices. So we already talked about Nmap tool. Now let's talk about one of the famous tool, IP scanner, Angry IP scanner tool. Let's talk about it. Let me demonstrate your IP scanner, Angry IP scanner. Basically, Angry IP scanner pings each IP addresses to check the status and then optionally resolve its host name, determines the MAC address, scan ports, and more. So let me show you Angry IP scanner. Uh, by default, as we open the tool, by default it sets the IP range from where to where we have to scan. Basically, those how many devices are active, how many hosts are active in the network they are present, the network in which you are connected. By this we can come to know. For example, let me give an example. Suppose you are a network administrator and you want to know like suppose there are 100 100 computers running in your network, and you want to know how many computers are now at the time active, how many computers are active at the time. So we cannot go and check each and every computer, like whether it is active or whether the host is active or not. So basically he will run the tools like this, and he can get the how many hosts are active at the particular time. So let's start it. So it is random. It takes some time to complete. So it is successfully scanned. and the total time taken to scan is 13.97 seconds. Average time per host is 0.05. This is the IP range, and the total host scan 54 has host has scanned, and there are two hosts alive. Let's see the two hosts which are alive. See, we got one host. This is the one host which is alive. It's mine MacBook, Keaton's MacBook, they're local. And let's see the another host which is alive. So this is the another IP by which is connected by host and which is alive at the particular at right now. So like this, we can get the IP address of the system which is alive in our network. So now let's talk about the phase three. Phase three is gaining access or exploiting something, exploitation. In this phase, the ethical hackers attempt to exploit vulnerabilities to gain unauthorized access to the system. The techniques used here are like brute force attacks, exploiting misconfigurations, injection attacks, etc. Now let's talk about brute force attack. What do you mean by brute force? Basically, brute force is like like hit and trial method, trying a password, like guessing the password using an automation, not manually typing every password and checking it. We'll use the tools like John the Reaper, Hydra, Hashcat, Register to automate this process and get the password. Like we have dictionaries like we have inbuilt dictionaries like rocku.txt in Kali Linux. There are so many dictionaries, but the famous dictionary used is rocku.txt. And for basically, the dictionary contains so many types, so many passwords, well, a bunch of passwords. For the given username, it checks it keeps each and every password and checks it. Now let's talk about exploiting misconfigurations. Like exploiting misconfigurations is like taking advantages of weak settings in web applications or networks. For networks, we can use like tools like Nmap again. In Nmap, we have NSC scripts. By using NSC scripts, we can exploit the misconfigurations there. And for web applications, we can use Metasploit. Metasploit is very famous tool and very powerful tool. It is an inbuilt tool in Kali Linux. Metasploit is a powerful penetration testing framework used for exploiting, testing, and securing systems. It provides a collection of exploits, payloads, auxiliary modules, and post-exploitation tools for ethical hacking and security assessments. And now let's talk about injection attacks. Injection attacks are exploiting databases vulnerabilities like SQL injection is one of the famous web vulnerability and famous injection attack. And we have command line injection. We have now let me demonstrate you SQL map tool, which is famous tool for SQL injection. So let's take the URL. Let's attack on this. Let's copy the URL. SQL URL. Let's paste the URL here. Let's make the crawl to faster. Let's run it. Crawl command is like just it crawls the total website and applies the commands where SQL injection can be applied. And the batch is to automate this whole stuff. Like it is asking, do you want to check for the existence of sitemap? So it basically takes a default value. Here the default value is no, so it takes no is default value the s. It takes default value s and it proceeds. So now the vulnerable link has been located here. So let's see the vulnerable link. Let's copy this part. So let's see. So this is the vulnerable link we got. So let's copy it. So let's perform more attacks on it. Let's paste it. Let's check the databases in it. So there are two databases available, this one and this one. So let's, I think first one is the useful database. So let's go into the database /t and the database name. That's it. Oh, sorry. So we are in the database. So let's see the database tables in it. What tables are present in the databases. So let's go tables command. See. It's given there are 8 tables present in database. So among these all tables, I think user table is very useful for us. So let's check the user tables. Capital T and type the table name, and let's dump the data in it, data present in it. So it is asking, do you want to store the hashes or to comment the facts? So let's give the default value, that is no. And it is asking to allow the data dictionary based attacks. So let's I just want to view the username and password. So I'm giving no. So here we can see the username. The username is test and the password is test. So which is basically in this website you can see here. Please use the username test and password test. And we can see here we got the username test and password test. Let's test it. Let's give the username test and the password also test. Okay, let's see here. See, let's see. We have successfully logged into it. So let me close it. Mm, So now let's talk about the phase 4, maintaining access, privilege escalation, and persistence. Once attacker gain the access, the attacker attempts to maintain control over it. The compromise systems by escalating privileges and installing backdoors. So let's talk about privilege escalation. Privilege escalation is gaining higher level of access. Like if you are a normally user access and you want to gain the attacker wants to gain the root access or admin access to hack the system or to retrieve the passwords and I think to take the data from the system. So again here we can use Metasploit tool, which is very famous tool. And I want to talk about this tool, GTFO Beams. It is one of the famous tool. So let me show it. So GTFO beams is a collection of Unix binaries that can be abused to escalate privileges, bypass security restrictions, and execute arbitrary commands. It is widely used for penetration testers and red teamers to exploit misconfigurations, SUIDs, system IDs. binary system ID binaries or pseudo permissions. So let me show you one of the things by which we can do. Let's take example of Nano. Nano, I'm just giving you a demonstration. Suppose let's go to desktop. So, so basically, while getting an privilege, basically Nano is used in Linux. So if the Nano is vulnerable, so we can use the command line from here to get the root access from Nano, like this one. So we can use this. So let me do no, type normally file test dot txt. So let me type something. Hello. So if we press Control and T, we'll get a command to execute. So here we can paste that command. So basically, by pasting this command, if it is vulnerable, we can get the root access from the nano shell. So basically, got. Let me check it. See, from here I got the access to it. See, I can check who is the command. Let's see ID. This is my ID. This is my network. It is useful command if you while CTF you are doing CTF and if you want to get a root access from a Linux for a Linux system, you can use this.
And by using the rootkits also we can maintain the access. Basically rootkits hides the malicious code or malicious activity inside a system. It will save in your root files, so it is very difficult to find for a person or any for a organization where the virus has been stored. So now let's cover phase 5, which is covering tracks and clearing logs and evidence. So it is, I think it is one of the most important thing for an ethical hacker, because you have entered the system, you have done some changes, you have exploited the things, and you should not left your footprints there. You have to clear everything. You have to clear everything what you have done there. So we can do it many things. Like basically, let me show you some things. For let's see the definition first. What it is. See, to avoid detection, attackers attempt to erase their presence by deleting logs and altering timestamps. So let's see. Let's see. First of all, let's see history. So if we type history, we can see the each and every command which we have typed till now. See, we can let me show. See, this is the nano command which I have typed to create the text before. This is the SQL map commands. These are the the John. So now it is important to clear this all, because it leaves your footprints here, because every if the again user comes again, and if you want to see what we have done in the computer, you can directly see the history what you have done in a system. Now it is important to clear the logs also. So let's see what are the logs here stored here. Let's see the logs. LS. See, these are all the logs. So it is important to clear the logs also, because from log stores the things we have done here, like whatever things tools you have used, it stores here. So to clear all locks, we can use command like sudo truncate truncate s capital O where lock and star dot lock. By using this command, it totally clears all the general locks which are present here. And if you want to clear any specific lock, so for that we should use the command sudo echo and the log address path. Like if you want to clear the lock, like let us clear one lock. Let's clear dpkg lock. Sorry, dpkg dot lock. So it clears that lock. If you want to clear any particular lock, just give sudo echo and the path of that lock. It clears that lock. So to remove all the lock files, to remove all the lock files, we can give command like sudo rf to forcefully remove it, where log and star. It removes every lock which is present here, each and every lock. So now, as we are talking about the clearing locks, now let's talk about the shut tool. Basically, shut tool is in Linux is a command that securely deletes files and devices by overwriting them with random data. So let's see how it works, how to use the tool. So to override the logs with sharding, we will use command sudo shard u the path of it where log and the path of that log we want to clear, like dpkg we have used it before log. That's it. This is the command by which you can override it. And best thing about using the shut tool is it's completely overrides, and it's very difficult for a user or any person to detect it. So now let's talk about time stomping. Time stomping is modifying file timestamps to make it appear as if they haven't been altered. We can use timestamp of Metasploit, and we can use touch command, which is an inbuilt tool, inbuilt command in Linux. Let's see it. So let's clear it. So for example, touch dot t, and we can give the time here. I'm giving 2023. Let's give an example 2023. Let's give an example of Jan 1st 2023. Let's give a time of 1 hour 1 minute or 1 second of 111 AM. Basically it's just an example. 2023 01 01 01 01 dot 01, and let's give the file name. Let file dot txt. So by using this command, we can change the timestamp of the file. We can use setmap tool also for changing the timeline. So next let's talk about disabling security tools, stopping antivirus and monitoring systems. We have tools like Process Hacker, Defender Control, Metasploit, Aviation modules. Process Hacker is a tool which runs in Windows. Basically, Process Hacker is an open source tool that will allow you to see what processes are running on a device, identify programs that are eating up CPU resources, and identify network connections that are associated with the process. So now let's talk about the. This is also, I think, very important phase, but it won't come in the top 5 phases of ethical hacking. Let's talk about the phase reporting. For every ethical hacker, after performing anything like exploiting any system or anything, reporting is also plays a major role in it. So let's talk about it. For ethical hackers, this is the most important phase. The vulnerabilities discovered during the penetration test are documented and reported to the organization so that they can be fixed. So the key elements of the report are summary of vulnerability found. What are the summary? What are the vulnerabilities we found? We will grade them depending upon the vulnerability, depending upon how vulnerabilities, is it a powerful vulnerability or is it a weak vulnerabilities. Like we can grade like P1, P2, P3 vulnerabilities. So listing all weaknesses identified during the testing. Risk assessment, rating vulnerabilities, which I've said before, rating the vulnerabilities depending upon the risk based on the severities. Recommendations, providing solutions to fix security faults. We have to recommend the company, so they can suggest to SOC analyst like who can get a better solutions to fix it and protect it. And proof of concept, this is the most important thing, like how you have exploited the vulnerability. We have to demonstrate it in a proper way. Like if we demonstrate, like demonstrating in proper way means like if any other person also seen it, like any other team, like we have to send it to a blue teaming to do the security thing, so they will understand how this have done and they will try to fix it. So these steps are very important if you are doing any bug bounty also. So while writing and report of anything, it may be bug bounty, it may be ethical hacking report, submitting anything. For in bug bounties also, maintaining these rules are very important. There must be a proof of concept. There must be a risk. We have to rate the vulnerabilities according to its risk, like P1, P2, P3 have said, like or low, medium, high, and we have to give them the recommendations to the company, like which we are submitting it, like how they can fix it, and that's it. So let's talk about the benefits of this phase. It helps the organization patch vulnerabilities, improves overall security posture, ensure a complaint and cyber security regulations. So now let's talk about how to defend against these hackers. Till now we have seen how how hackers can attack the systems. So now let's talk about how to defend against the hackers. So basically, to defend against the hackers, we can use strong passwords and multi-factor authentications to our websites. If you are I suggest, like if you are creating any website, try to use the default Google Chrome password. It provides a default password which is very difficult to identify, and it's not easily crackable by like crackable by rocku.txt dictionaries, like all. And try to use mostly try to use the symbols. uh, Don't use like basic numbers or 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5, or any type of pattern type of passwords. And don't try to keep your names as passwords. Mostly mostly try to maintain a capital letter, some small letters, numerics, and also the special characters. By using this, it takes so much time for an attacker to crack it. Next, keep software and systems updated to patch vulnerabilities. Maintain the software and systems up to date. Be aware of the new vulnerabilities which have come into the market, uh, and try to protect your systems according to those vulnerabilities. Which, next, deploy firewalls and IDPS systems, like intruder detection and prevention systems. Educate employees on phishing and social engineering risk. Educate each and every employee on social engineering attacks, how the phishing takes place, and that all. Now again, conduct regular security audits and penetration tests. It will be very good if we do a penetration test every few weeks or months, and we can secure it. We can secure the organization. We keep the people in the organization safe and the organization safe. So this is till now. Thank you.